Hi, crafty friends. I am back today with a design team project and a little tutorial on a project I made using the Junk Journal Studio's kit called Love Always. I'm going to flip through the pages so you can see how gorgeous these papers are. I mean, they are so pretty. The Junk Journal Studios kit Love Always is on Etsy, and I will link that in the description box. Look at how pretty that is. I mean, it's just, I'm speechless. It's so pretty. The pages are, I want to say there's like, I don't remember, 43 pages or something in the kit. There's a lot. And there's tags, there's tons, like typical of the Junk Journal Studios kits. There's always lots and lots and lots of ephemera in her kits. Let me print on the back side of that one. And that one. This one, I love this page. And then I think I showed you that one already. And then I'm going to use some of these pages. I cut down the borders off of this one because I'm going to show you the project that I made, and I'm going to show you how I made it, how to build the base for it. And then there's tons of ephemera, a lot that I used in my project and some that I've cut out already. So this is the project I made. Now this project, the inspiration came from a YouTube channel called Copycat Crafts, and I kind of like put my own spin on it, but that was like the original how this started. So I just, distressed the edges of the papers. This is a die cut from Scrap Diva Designs that I just think is so beautiful. And I cut out one of the images from the Junk Journal Studios paper. Sorry, it's something at my feet that is crinkling. Oh, it's a package of stickers. So I added that to the cover because I just thought it looked really pretty. Put a little charm here, one of these little, I think these are called bolo pins. Anyways, a couple little charms for my stash. So you open this, and I have a little pocket here. I added, this is a paper lace doily that I distressed inked with some vintage photo, and I just put that on top of a pocket because, it wasn't sturdy enough. And then I put this little tag in here that's embossed with some hearts. And as you can see, some of the ephemera. Isn't that cute? The old vintagey looking photo. I tucked these little tickets from the kit behind this little envelope that's in the kit. I mean, the ephemera is just gorgeous in these kits. Layered up these kits, layered up some of the ephemera and some of the sentiments. And then this is one of the tags. And really all I did was add this piece of ephemera from the kit and this little round 14. Just so pretty. And look at these pages. They're really hard to cover because they're just gorgeous. And then this flips open. I have another little pocket, more of the ephemera from the Love Always kit. Darling postcard I printed on both sides. A ticket, another one, another tag. And then I think it was in December, or was it December? I think it was December. The end of November, beginning of December, Michelle from the Junk Journal Studio in her Kofi shop has this fabulous freebie. It's one of my favorite freebies. And it's this envelope that you can, let's see if I can find one, because I know I printed another one. You can print out the image of the envelope, and then you can print it again run it back through your printer with your patterned paper, and it's in here somewhere. I'll find it. And you can, here's one that I did for today's project. So then you can run it back through, and then you can cut out your little window and add some little cellophane to make an envelope and use the papers from the digital. So how beautiful is that? So this flips open. Look at how pretty these papers are. And then I made this little journal, this mini little journal in here with some of the ephemera. And I just cut the papers down. I just tied it in. I didn't sew it. I just put a couple pages, then I put a little pocket on the back. And this actually was just a scrap that I had from my project, and I just like folded this over. I'm like, oh, I don't want to cut that off. I'll fold it over, make it a pocket. Just added a little ephemera card in there, and then just tucked this in this envelope so that you can see. I'll show you. When the envelope's out, there's a piece, this piece back here is actually a piece of ephemera from the kit that I just thought looked perfect in the envelope. Added this ephemera piece and this and this. I mean, I just can't say enough about how beautiful this kit is. And then this flips open and have another little pocket with some ephemera, little postcard that's in the kit, another little journal card. Isn't that cute? That tucks in there. This tucks in here. And then I made this little flippy thing here that I just added a little journal card to. And on this page, I've cut out another one of these hearts from Scrap Diva Designs and then layered it up with some of the ephemera from the kit and a sentiment. And then I made this a side pocket and then put another little, used another little piece of paper from the kit and made it like a little journal space and added some ephemera to it. I cut out some of these flowers from one of the, I think it was like a page like this. And then I cut the corners, just like a portion of a circle punch to make it kind of look like a ticket. And just tuck that in the side pocket. And then flip this open. And this page is just so pretty on its own. I didn't want to cover up all of these gorgeous images. So all I added was this little lace doily, this little envelope, and I just kind of made a little tuck that I put some of the ephemera pieces in. And you could journal on this. And I added this little ephemera piece with these darling kitties. And like most of her kits, the ephemera comes in like 2 different sizes. So this kitties, they come in a bigger size and then a smaller size. So it just kind of fit perfect right there. And then on this page, I just added this little ephemera piece from the kit, and then this little heart and this. And then all I did on the back is, this is layered. And so just added a little sentiment. So how pretty is that? I love this. So I'm going to show you, I'm just going to do a quick tutorial to show you how I built this base. And I think I showed you the envelope already that you can just print. Go to the Junk Journal Studio's Kofi shop and you'll see this freebie in here for this envelope template. So I printed double-sided on the paper so that the ends you can see on the inside. So let me bring in my papers that I kind of cut down already. So all you're really going to need are like 2 of these pieces, two of the paper, journal pages, and then another paper page for your little flip. For this right here is a flip on its own. I just added the envelope in. So you need a scrap piece of paper for that, and for this, and then for your pockets. So this is actually just the base is just 2 journal cards. So I am going to set these aside, and what I did is I made the plainer side on the outside of the journal, and then I cut another piece out to layer it on top. So that, and that was so that you could see all the more decorative paper on the inside. So let's take this one. We're actually going to take both of these on the plain side and just, I didn't cut these down at all. All I did was I just cut off the white border that prints when you print your digital. There's a white border, and I just cut that off. That's all I did. And so this ends up being like 9 1/4 by, oh, it's almost 7 1/2. So all you're going to do is you're just going to fold this right in half. Oh, let's see. I want the plain paper on the outside. So fold that in half. And where's my bone folder? Where's my bone folder? Just burnish that down. Open it back up. And then on each side of your score line, you're just going to score like 1/8 of an inch to the side. It's just like a tiny, tiny, tiny amount. And it just like allows it to just kind of curve around a little bit more. I'm just going to fold this so you can see it a little bit better, hopefully. Can you kind of see that? Okay. So let's bring in our other page. And again, I want the more decorative piece on the inside. Fold it in half. Burnish it down. Open that back up, and then score 1/8 of an inch on each side, on the right side of your center fold and on the left side. That's all the scoring you need. And then to kind of reinforce the spine here, I'm going to bring in some, this is some of Tim Holtz, like fabric tape. There's all different ones. There's tickets. These are a couple different ones, but I love how this ledger one looks. I just think it looks so pretty. So we're going to put that on the outside of, on the outside and on the inside. So just take your, let's see, I'll do this one first. Actually, let's take this one first. So I'm just going to take this linen tape. I know it's upside down, but I'm just like measuring for the length right now. And it's a little bit longer, but we will end up cutting it off. Sorry, the rabbits are playing. Lots of noise. Let me look at, just making sure I put it on the inside and the outside. So how how this linen tape works is it just, or this fabric tape, it just has sticky on the outside. And I'm just going to stick it right over where we scored. Just try to kind of center it. Now, if you don't have, you know, this fabric tape, what you can do is you can just take a piece of fabric and use, attach some double-sided tape to it. Or you can glue it. It just makes like a really sturdy journal. That just like sticks right on there. I'm just gonna try to cut this off. Let's see. I want to just kind of cover some of the sticky so it doesn't get on my scissors. Like that. That excess off, and then we're going to put another strip here. Actually, before I take that off, I want to cut 2 more because there's 2 pieces of paper, so you need 4 of these little strips. And you could also, I suppose, reinforce with paper as well. It's really sturdy when you use this fabric tape or fat linen tape. Kind of linen fabric. I guess it's the same thing, right? Okay, so now let's just pull the sticky side off. Cut the excess off. Putting that there so I don't get the sticky on my scissors. Okay, and then I'm just going to round my corners. And let's ink around the edges. This is just Distress Vintage Photo. I'm just going to kind of do both sides. Okay, let's bring our other paper in. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put our fabric tape just down the center of that spine. And this will be like it'll be really stiff like when you fold it. So you can just kind of manipulate it and fold it back and forth to just kind of train the paper to bend a little bit there. This sticky side right here so I can cut off that excess. Okay. And I'm going to round my corners. Whoops. And let's ink around the edges. hope everybody's doing well. I hope if you're in an area that has this ice storm going on, that you have power and you have heat and you have lots of craft supplies to have something to do. Fortunately, I'm not in one of those areas. It is cold where I'm at, but it's not as cold as a lot of areas. So you can kind of fold these a little bit just to kind of train the paper. And so what we're going to do is, let me fold this first. We're gonna glue these together to make a side pocket right here. So, open up my glue. And we're just gonna put glue around the top and the bottom. Just down one side. And then we're going to line these two up. Oops. Almost had it. Folder, kind of burnish that down to get the glue to grab on there. And this will be like a little bit weird and wonky, but we're going to tape it again. See, this is going to be like this. It's going to be like this. And so you can have a little side pocket right there. And you can cut like a little notch, so you know. I don't know if I did. I did not do a side notch on the other one, but I think I'll do a side notch on this one. Just so you know that that's a pocket there. Okay. And so this takes a little bit to set, but you know what? I'm going to use some Fabri-Tac. Since this is linen. Just kind of glue those together, and if you have these some sort of little clips to kind of clip them. And then, so it looks like this, but then you can see like what I did is I put another piece of linen tape over those. So you can put lace, or you can put whatever you want to put. If I have some lace, maybe I could do something different. This might be too thick. I'm not sure. I think I will do the linen tape again. See if I have enough left for this. I do. So it kind of just like overlaps a little bit because you want this over the spine. So you actually need 5 pieces of the linen tape or fabric, not just 4. I kind of want to let that sit for a minute to just grab on there. just for a minute. And in the meantime, I'm going to use one of these as my flip on the inside. I think probably this one. So, what we're creating is this piece right here. So we need to score it like 1/2 inch. So I'm going to bring my scoreboard back in. Let's turn it this way. And yeah, I'm just going to score at 1/2 inch. And I need to make a pocket. So right here we have a little pocket that our little flap's going to glue underneath. And let me didn't really measure any of this. I just kind of used a pen and kind of marked. It's about right there. And I need to cut a little bit of this off about right here. Fancy measuring. And usually I just take a pen or a pencil and just mark it. And it's kind of up to you, like what size pocket you want, or how big or how small you want your pocket. And let me see where I have my paper doilies. Don't remember where I put them. I'll have to add that later. Okay. So this is going to end up getting connected, and it'll go like this. So let's set that aside for a minute and bring back in this and my linen tape if I can find where it went. Moving stuff around here. I don't know. You saw me cut it, right? You saw me cut it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. So when I pull this off, I just kind of like fold it. I actually kind of fold this in half first, just so that it will fold easier around the spine. So it'll end up going like this. And so, yeah, it looks like, oh, that looks weird. But you know what? Once you layer a piece of paper on top, you're not going to see that. So don't worry about it. Pull this off. Okay. Just kind of try to like eyeball and center it. That didn't look very centered. Yes, you can put a piece of lace over this or whatever you want, piece of fabric. I just love how the look of this linen fabric tape looks. I just think it looks cool. Then on the inside, and I just kind of like fold this around to just kind of mold it so that I can get it to kind of lay flat, or as flat as I can. Still see a little bit on the edge there. Okay. So this is going to go here. It's going to be our flap. I'm going to round the corners. Ink the edges. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Both sides. And you have to just try to make sure that you don't go over where your spine opens and closes. So just kind of open and close it a few times. And I'm going to use this Fabri-Tac since it's going to be a little bit on some of this linen tape because it goes over the edges of the spine. Push that down. You can put something to cover this if you want, washi tape or another piece of paper or something, but I think it looks pretty. And then our little pocket right here. Actually, that pocket I want to cut down to. I guess it's okay. I'm going to round this corner so it matches the edge there. I'm going to cut a little notch in the top. Actually, I don't like how this is folding right there. Okay, I'm back. I think I knocked my camera. So let's cut a little notch in our pocket. Ink the edges. Just going to glue our pocket on. Come on, glue, you can do it. Now what I did here is I took a doily and I glued it on top of the pocket. I'm not sure I'm going to do that here because I like this little image. I think it looks really pretty. So then that's our little flappy thing. And then I'm going to bring in my little envelope. Now you can just take an envelope and cover it with paper, or you can do it the really easy way and take the template the Junk Journal Studio has on their coffee shop and just glue that down right there like that. I'm just going to kind of center that and just apply buy some glue. Just glue that on. So now you have this. You can tuck something in there. And then this flips here. And now we need another little pocket here. Although, again, I'm covering this up, so I'm not sure I want a pocket right there. I might put a pocket over here. Not sure. Because that is so pretty. But I am going to put this little flappy thing here. So I'm not sure how big this is. I think I just kind of took a piece of paper. I folded it in half. This might be, yeah, it's not wide enough. Okay, let's get another piece of paper. Fit that piece. Pages on there. There's the text. Isn't this always the hardest part? Picking out the pages. I think I was going to put this on the cover. So I'm going to set that aside. Could use that one. These are tags. Let's do this one. Oh, we could do that bottom part right there. One of those. One of those. If I could find my pen. Let's bring in this pen here. So I can kind of measure where my... Actually, I think I need to cut that first. I'll tell you the size as soon as I finish doing this. So about there to about here. Set that aside. But we want double that side because it's a pocket. So let's cut the white edge off of this. Oops. This is about the width right here. And so right there's about the halfway mark. We fold that in half. Like that. Like that. I guess you gotta decide which side you want it to flip. Now you can make this like, and that's what I should have done, is made it 1/2 inch longer. so that we have a tab to connect it. Not a half an inch wider. So let's do that again. That's like about a half an inch right there, I think. Let's cut this here. And let's bring our scoreboard in. Again. Let's see. I'm going to just score a half an inch, or I guess it could be a quarter of an inch, but I'm going to do half an inch on that side. And let's fold this in half. Let's fold this in half. We're going to cut one of these tabs off. But first you want to figure out which way you want your little thing to flip. Well, I guess it's this way because I put the tab on this side, right? Because I wanted this rose to show. So let's cut this tab off, the one on the top. It's kind of the center. Bigger scissors. Cut that piece off. Did I cut that? Didn't cut that very straight. Let's see. Just angle. Cut these so it looks like that. Did I glue it under something? I guess I glued this underneath a piece of paper. No, I didn't. No, it's glued on like this. The other one I had glued this way, but that was because of the direction, I think, of the paper. I need to cut this a little bit more because it's catching there, because I didn't cut it very straight, which is not a surprise. I don't seem to cut things straight. So then it's going to connect like this. So what we need is, we need a little notch on this side. So we're going to put our journal card here. And I guess I need it rounded on this side since it's close to the corner there, and that corner's rounded. That's what I did on the other one. Ah, it's really hard to cut through that. No, it's not going to do that. Ah, I really need to find my other corner rounder. This is too thick a paper. I'm just going to round it on both sides so it just looks uniform. At least got the imprint there where to cut it. Oh, that one cut. Okay, good. Okay. And then we just want to add glue along the bottom and along the side and along the bottom to close this little pocket. Like that. And then sorry, I really need to wipe this Fabri-Tac glue spout off. It's making a mess. And then it's ink. So my last project was a cutesy Valentine's Day, a digital that I used, and this one is more like Victorian. This gorgeous. I just think it's so pretty. And so that's going to glue like that. So let's glue this little tab down. Here. I might put something here to just kind of tuck it in. I'm not sure. So on this one, the original one I made, I put a pocket here. But I don't want to cover this image up. I just think it's so pretty. I can maybe add some ephemera or something over here, but I don't want to cover the little cherub up. So I might be able to do a pocket maybe on this side instead. And I think maybe I can save this rose and still be able to see these little loving couple here. Oops. Let's bring in my paper trimmer. So yeah, when you're making these little folios, I mean, you know, go with the paper and design around the paper. Let's see. Yeah, then you can still see those people. Let's round the corner here on this side. Go like this. And let's put a little notch here. And let's ink around this. Let's glue this pocket down. Let me make sure. Yeah, I'm fine. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't going into the spine too much there where it was going to catch. So just glue around 3 sides. Oops. Line it up to the bottom. See, there's a nice good blank space right here to put a piece of ephemera. So then on this page, which again, it's going to be a little stiff because of that fabric tape, just play with your paper. I don't want a pocket here because, again, I don't want to cover these up. I could put another little flippy thing here or just leave it. I think I'm going to leave it. I could do maybe a belly band. Let me show you how I did the cover. This is how this is. This, pocket here. Nothing here yet, but you know what? Sometimes when I get into the ephemera, I change my mind, so we'll see. So for my cover, I'm either going to use that piece or I really like this page here. Let me cut off my edges here. Now this is the time before you glue your cover on that if you want to add some ribbon or like I added this crocheted lace here under this cover here for a tie closure. So this is the time you'd want to do that. If that's the type of closure you want, that is. And I think that is what I want. I think I might use a different type of enclosure or ribbon. Let's see what I have in front of me or beside me. Okay, so this I want a little bit of all of this to show, but I also want to make sure that I get this balloon in here. I think that's kind of like the center of where that paper would be. Cut this. Bottom. This would be pretty too, though. I might use that. Off this side. So you see just like a very little bit, like an eighth of an inch or so. But I still might need a little bit cut off on, a little bit over here, I think. Some more of that shows. Oh, I think I'm gonna cut it from this side because I don't want to cut too close to that little cherub or an angel. But I want options, so I'm gonna cut them both down and then decide. Yes, I cut this one quite a bit shorter, apparently. I don't know how I did that, but that's okay. I can center it on there. Let's cut more off on that side. Still has a little bit more cut off, I think. So I don't want to cut into that P. The letter P. Okay, I think that's good. And I'm just gonna bring in some ribbon. I'm not sure that this pink. I thought I had some red seam binding, but you know, where is it? I don't know. Maybe I'll do the lace again. I feel like it's too white. I feel like it needs to be, since I don't want to take the time to coffee dye it, we're just going to use our good old vintage photo. Change the color of this. Let's do one side at a time. How about that? I mean, I could spray it, but this works. I'm gonna just make it look this old vintagey lace. So the Junk Journal Studio has fans of the Junk Journal Studio Facebook group, which is a great place to get some inspiration and to post your projects to inspire others. So check that out too. And I believe these kits, this kit, Love Always, and there's another kit, there's another like two, like a vintagey retro Valentine's Day ephemera kit, and another beautiful kit I haven't had the opportunity to work with yet, but want to. I believe it's called All Things Roses, that are on sale right now in the Junk Journal Studio's Etsy shop. So check that out. Save a little money. If you're like me, you purchase a lot of digitals. I purchase a lot of digital. I purchase more digitals than I have time to make projects for. But I have, like, I want to make projects with them. So I think I'm trying to see how I did this other one. Yeah, that's how I did it. Okay. So I'm just going to cut this in half. And I'm going to glue half of it here. Because while this does not look chunky now, it will be by the time I'm done. So I need a closure. There's that. So now, which one are we going to put on the front? This one? This one? I think I'm leaning towards this one. I like the text up here. So I'm going to, first I'm going to round the corners. Take, so I have this tool to like distress the edges like this. But sometimes I just take my scissors. Sometimes it's just, I don't know. Either way, both ways work. Just make a mess. It just kind of distresses up the edges. I just think it gives it a cool look. Be careful around the edges, the corners. And that's okay if you cut into it. It's just another place to ink, and you can add that old vintagey tape to it that looks cool. It just gives it this old distressed vintage look. All that stuff, and then ink around the edges. And see, and I like how the paper kind of curls, even though it's torn right there. I just think it looks cool. This just gets glued right on top here. And I'm going to use Fabri-Tac again because I have the lace and I have my fabric tape there. So the Fabri-Tac just sticks a little bit better to fabric. And you also have a little more wiggle room with Fabri-Tac too. It's just those big bottles are kind of hard to squeeze. I think I need to put it in a smaller bottle that's easier to kind of squeeze. And I'm just going to tear that off and ink it. See, it just makes it look distressed. What's that? I'll put something here. And then maybe I'll put this one on the back. Now, let me round my corners. So really, this is really a fast, easy, well, I always say fast, but nothing is fast for me because once I get into the embellishment, I made this entire project while I was waiting for my last video to upload, and I'm having some major connection or internet speed issues. I got a new phone. I think the bandwidth is just too much for my internet to handle or something. And Michelle was gracious enough to send me some fabulous articles to help me get my last video uploaded, because literally for 3 days I tried to get that thing uploaded. I sat here and crafted in silence without anything else connected to my Wi-Fi because I didn't want to slow it down, and I mean I made a whole project waiting. So, and then it just, you know, I was done with the project and I was like, oh shoot, I really tore that, but you know what, I'm going to use some of that boo-boo tape if I can find it. Where did I put that? I know I set it out here somewhere, but so yeah, so then I completed another whole project. Yeah, I completed a couple different projects waiting. So I'm hoping this video uploads faster with all the little tips that Michelle sent me. I'm also working with the my internet provider to get them to figure out what the heck's wrong, the speed of my internet. I mean, it's not like I live in a really remote location. I mean, I do have a big mountain behind me. I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not, but I'm just gonna fold this and ink it. It just makes it look old. Whoops. More distressed. I'll come back and get some of that little vintage tape and add that when I find it. I thought I specifically set it aside for this project, but yeah, don't know. Let's glue this down for now. So yeah, so the base really of this doesn't take long to make. It's just 2 full journal pages and some other scraps for your pockets and things that you can flip out and your cover. So maybe 3 or 4 pages total. I'm going to tear that off, ink it. There, how cute. So that is how you build the base, friends. I will post this project completed in the fans of the Junk Journal Studio after I finish decorating it. But I will also be posting this one. So let me know if you have any questions, and if you make this, I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Daily Dose of Happiness. Tag me. Let me know what you make with this gorgeous kit. And I hope that you have a fabulous day, friends. Thanks. Bye.